Hey everyone, happy Friday! Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky embroidery kits. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft for about an hour or so every evening here. And we work on projects from beginning to end. So right now we are working on the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt along, and we're on block 10 right here around Four Corners by Rachael Daisy. Here we go, so cute. And I think we're gonna actually finish it today. So we lucked out on this block and I worked on it all week. So this took me 5 days to do, so 5 hours probably. And here we are. We stitched, these are all applique circles, so I stitched down these two sides and this whole center, and today we just have to stitch around those two circles. So we should be able to do that tonight. So I'm pretty stoked. A finished block in this is great. I think I have about maybe a third of them finished. We only have 10 so far. There's going to be 100 total. So right now this is block 10. There was no new block this week. Usually we get new blocks on Thursday and there wasn't anything new this week. So we got a freebie so I could finish this up a little bit, which is great. Okay, let's get another finished block. So I'm going to flip you guys around and we'll get going today. Hello everyone. Okay, shimmying down here for the evening. Okay, let's try to de-wiggle. Oh, you've missed me. Your Wi-Fi's been out for a week. Oh, bummer, Robin. So yeah, we're all having some tech issues tonight. I restarted the phone and I think we're good to go now. So okay, here are the two circles we did. First of all, we stitched it down here first, just the center area, which we didn't have to. We could have gone the whole circle, whole circle, whole circle. But this kind of worked out great because we ended up in one spot and then we can just keep going around and around kind of without doing that. One a week, Paula, that's what I'm wondering too. Is it going to be like a 2-year project? I'm not exactly sure. I thought they mentioned it was going to be 1 year, but how does that work, right? If it's only one block a week. So I'm not quite understanding it completely either, but we're just going with it. We typically only work on this on Thursdays and Fridays, and then do a different project for Monday through Wednesday. But we just finished the Splendid Sampler quilt along, not the Splendid Sampler, we just finished the Charming Chevrons quilt. So, I'm a little bit in between projects, so I'm going to try and get a little further on these blocks for a little bit. But yeah, typically, we're only doing this a couple times a week. So it's not 2 years of only this project. We'll be doing other stuff too. All right, so I'm just continuing with the just hand stitching around. This is kind of like needle turn applique. But we've turned all the circles already. So by turned, I mean we've tucked under the seam allowance already versus like, I guess, real needle turn applique where you don't have anything turned under. Like the seam allowance is still sticking out here and then you turn it under with your needle and then put a stitch down and then turn it under with your needle and put another stitch down. We just kind of cheated by turning it first, which makes stitching a whole lot easier, I think. Oh, Debbie. So Debbie, you think that it's 2 blocks a week when the book comes out. Oh man. Then we may have to change how we do this. So the book is going to come out, I think, November-ish, or was it October-ish? Oh gosh, that's coming up quick. But I think it's 20 blocks for free, and then we get the book. And then we'll be going from the book. So we may have to update how we schedule these if it's really 2 a week at that point. So we'll see how it goes. We'll edit ourselves or update our schedules as need be, I suppose. But I still want to do that sketchbook project. And So we'll get that in for sure. And I want to get going on that granny square quilt that I posted about in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group too. Yeah, 10 with 2, it should be, oh, 10 with 2 would only be a year. So, okay. Oh, then with 2, it would only be a year, yeah. Okay. That's how the last one was. So, you know, maybe what's different this time around, you know, we have these 20 that we're doing just one a week. For the first Splendid Sampler, there were a lot of bonus blocks. This first Splendid Sampler was 2 a week, which was pretty intense, but it was 2 a week. And then we got a bunch of bonus blocks. So I suppose if you just take out all the bonus blocks and then spread the first 20 over 1 week, then maybe it's about the same time period. Maybe that's what's happening. Oh, you think you might get 2 books because you ordered off of Amazon. Oh, and an Australian site. Oh, Jennifer. Well, maybe a friend wants one. You tried to find graphics, but you can't find them yet. Oh, Gribbets. Oh, the Gribbets here. The only place, well, I'm not sure they sell many other places. So here they are again. They're by Sewing Mates. So I don't know if Sewing Mates, if you go to sewingmates.com, I don't know if they might ship directly to you. They're the ones who make it. So if they ship there, then you can get them directly from them. All right, I'm gonna pull that pin out. He's in my way. None of your friends quilt. I know that's the problem, right? I'm wondering if the first 20 are the bonus blocks. No, I think these are part of the quilt because I think there's only 80 after this. Or, well, if you take a peek at the book cover on Amazon, a lot of the book cover ones, or maybe all even, are the ones that we're doing already. So those might be the 20. If there's like 20 on the cover, those might be the 20 we're getting. So we might have a little preview of them all right there already. Who knows? But I have no idea either. But I know some people were mentioning, hey, this one's on the cover too. So maybe that's the first 20, even though they're a surprise to us. Maybe that is it, that they're the ones on the cover. So if it's on the cover, then I'm guessing that these aren't bonus blocks, that they're actually in the book. Oh, you're in New Zealand and you got your Grippets from Massdrop. Okay, so Massdrop ships to New Zealand. So I don't think they're on Massdrop right now, but they seem to be doing really well on Massdrop. So my guess is that they will run them again at some point, and I'm sure we'll talk about it here. So if you're waiting for the Grippets and they don't ship to New Zealand, but Massdrop does, then it'll be around again, I'm guessing, on Massdrop. Massdrop just, it's an occasional thing. So every, like a product's up for like a week, and then you have that week to get it at the cheaper price on Massdrop, and then it goes away, and then, you know, sometimes they'll bring back a product. Oh, you love the little chicken all framed up. I know, he was just the perfect size. He ended up being the perfect size. So I'm going through a bunch of pieces of fabric here because I'm at the seam allowance of this white. So that was a little tough stitching through, but we're still good. I'm not quite done with Anne with an A yet, but I still like it. It's cute. I think I have maybe 3 or 4 more episodes in the second season, so it only has 2 seasons right now. But that's my new show that I'm loving to watch. We said Massdrop, so yeah, something will probably come up. Exactly, Bonnie. I feel like whenever we talk about a product, Massdrop usually has it or something similar, like a week later. So who knows, yeah, maybe Grippets will be up next week. Or maybe they're up there now. Maybe our ears are buzzing or whatever. and maybe they jumped up there now, who knows. Oh, you love my embroidery block from Splendid Sampler 1. Oh, so cool. Thanks, Patricia. I do not have one in the Splendid Sampler 2, so I'm not a Splendid Sampler 2 designer. They're all new designers except for Jane Davidson and Pat Sloan, who are, it's their book, it's their project. So they have blocks, I think a few blocks in this one like they did the first one. But other than that, everyone's a new designer for this book. So that's the other thing. Not only do you learn a ton of stuff for a ton of quilting techniques and everything during the Splendid Sampler projects, but you also get kind of introduced to a whole pile of designers that you might not have known about. So that's kind of a neat thing about it too. Oops, I lost my thread there. I always kind of find it interesting, like, oh, this is kind of an interesting circular piece. And then you go see the designer's page and just see all the other interesting stuff that they do. Because it's every block sort of pertains to what that person does in theory, right? Because that designer designed the block. And I think the designer also gets tasked, at least this is how it was for the first one. There's, all the techniques, right? So applique and embroidery and, just piecing and paper piecing, just like a bunch of quilting techniques. We were kind of told what technique we should use for our block. And it was based on, what we kind of do. So I had embroidery in my block since I do embroidery typically. So this person probably does a lot of applique or a lot of circles or something. And it's just fun to dig deeper into the designer and what they do. There's some neat stuff out there. Oh, you found me through So Sweetness. Oh, that's cool. Yes, So Sweetness, Sarah from over there, she did a little giveaway of some of our kits a little while back. So that's awesome. I'm so happy you made it over here too, Dawn. Oh, and with an E, it's so excellent. The music and graphics are gorgeous. Yes, it is just beautiful. And I think that actress is awesome. I love her. And I actually have all the Anna Green Gables books, and I read them like a bajillion years ago. But I pulled them out again. I have them here, and I'm going to read through them again after watching the show. I have a couple more episodes left, and I'm in the middle of 2 library books that I got to get done and return first, but then I think I'm going to read through that series again. Kind of curious if it'll take a long time, because, it's like a ton of books. It's like 11 books or something. I'm almost out of thread here, so I'm going to finish it up. But it's, like they're children's books in theory, so I wonder if it's going to take a long time or if you can just like speed through these books. Kind of curious. But yeah, I totally want to read them again now after seeing the show. I don't remember anything from the books. And if I do, I don't remember it until it's happening on screen, kind of. So it's just kind of funny. Only a third of the circle to go. I know, this is going so fast today, Jennifer. So this might be a quick one tonight. It is Friday, so I suppose that's okay. Call it an early-ish night. We do have to trim it yet, so I will press it. Why don't we get the iron heating up already? I'll press it tonight, and we will trim it to size. Oh, fun to read as an adult. Yeah, Lisa, that's what I'm curious about. Like, picking up on the themes and everything that I might not have been thinking about when I was little reading it. I'm curious. I'm curious just what are they trying to say with the book and whatever. Like in my head, it's just like this nice, fun book. Actually, in my head, there's nothing because I don't really remember, but it's like, this is totally gonna sound weird, but it's like the book 1984 for me, because I loved that book when I was younger, but what I really connected to was like the doublethink and the erasing words from the dictionary and stuff. I just thought that was just fascinating. So it wasn't like this big political thing, which that book clearly is. But in my head, I wasn't as focused on that when I was younger. So I'm curious. I'd like to read that one again too. But that's what I'm curious about with Anne of Green Gables, reading those books again. Like, what am I totally missing? Or what did I totally miss as a kid? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of excited to read through them. I want to finish the series though first. Like I said, I got a couple more episodes, and then I got to finish these library books. Our library's awesome here. I'm in a big city. I'm in Minneapolis here, and they have a ton of libraries. And what's awesome is that they're all hooked together. So, and then on the website, they have a good website too. So I can go to the website, do a search for the book that I want, and they will take it from whatever libraries it's at and then deliver it to my library, and then they'll email me when it's available. So sometimes I might not be first on the list. Like if it's a new book, I might be even 80th on the list. You know what I mean? But without fail, if I check out more than one book, like 2 books, I'm on the waiting list for 2 books, they always come right around the same time, no matter where I am on the list. So it's like, oh man, now I got to read 2 books in a couple days. So that doesn't always fly. So I got to read those first, then Anne with the E. Anne with the E strays from the books a bit. That's what I'm curious about too, Wanda, how far that's going. Oh, yay, Kathy! That's exciting. So happy you guys are here. I always learn a ton from doing this. I mean, when I pick projects to work on, it's most of the time to learn something new or to try something new. Do you have to pay $1 for the interlibrary loans? You mean like if it's going from one library to the other? No. The whole system, the whole Hennepin County system is connected. So it's as if you're getting stuff from one library. So no, I don't pay any extra loans to get a book. There's a British series that's cute. Liv Ann. Lark's Rides to California. Huh. Yeah, so now I'm probably gonna get way into all the Anne of Green Gables stuff again. It's been, ages since I've read that. All right, I'll leave that guy in for a little longer. It's cute and I like it. And it's one of these Netflix shows that they do really, really well with, a bunch of money, so it looks perfect and the actors are lovely, and it's crazy how all those shows can be cranked out with such high quality these days. It's kind of awesome. And that actress is great. All of the actors in that show are good. It's just sweet and satisfying. It's my same description of the latest Mission Impossible movie. It's just satisfying. Like it hits all the marks of you just feel like you ate a good meal after watching it. Satiating. Yeah, we are gonna be done with this so quick. This would take a lot longer if we were tucking the edge under each time. So it is more prep in theory at the beginning part than just normal needle turn applique, where you can just put them all on here and then they're done. You don't have to do any of the turning under beforehand. So you get started a little faster, but man, having these edges all tucked under for me already is just making the stitching faster. Yes, I love, the little sharp needles. These guys, these are little applique pins. So these are just clover applique pins. I think that's just what makes them different, I suppose, are just that they're short, so you can get the little applique bits down. And then my needle it's a skinny, I think it's a size 11 straw or Milner's needle. And those are just a little bit longer. And then the size 11 is this thin, and it's totally bent. I should get some more. It's bent from doing English paper piecing. How did you turn the edges under? So Shirley, I did, we did that in, I think, the second or third video for this. So it's up on YouTube at Penguin Fish Movies for this block. But we had freezer paper. So this is just freezer paper from like the grocery store. And we did 2 layers just so it was a little thicker. There's a waxy side and then there's a non-waxy side. So the waxy side you press onto the back of your fabric and then it sticks to it. And then we trimmed all the way around to make the circle. And then while it was still sticking to it, we folded all those edges, all the seam allowances, these edges here, we folded it over the circle. And then we tried it without starch the first time, and that didn't work so well. They were coming out, and I got kind of a wonkier thing. So for the other 3, while they were still, we glued them down. While we glued down the edges, I also put some starch on it and then pressed it. So these are starched just on the edges, and that's helping it hold its shape. And then I just pulled the papers out and pinned them down, and that's generally the deal. I didn't actually pin them down. First, I put a stitch. I put a stitch where each of these circles connect, just so that these lines would match up, and then I put the whole thing down. Do you change the colors of thread that match your appliquing? I haven't. I've just been using this white. I can't remember what I don't want to say rule, but let's call it standard practice. So I don't know what the standard practice is. I can't remember if it's match what your applique piece color is or match what your background color is, but I know it's kind of one or the other of those. I'm using mostly like fabrics and my background is white, so I'm just using the same kind of light cream. I'm not quite sure what color this is called. It's not white, it's a kind of a light cream. I'm just using that for kind of everything for this block. For the last Splendid Sampler, I did a lot of darker colors and blues. I think I ended up using a dark gray or blue thread the whole time there. So I suppose you could say I'm matching the background color, although, this foreground color here, all these colors except for this one are kind of light. I suppose if I would have done like a darker pink for around here, maybe that would have been better, but meh, it's a lot of switching around. Mine is red, white, and blue. Oh, and you feel like it should match. Give it a try. If you have thread, it wouldn't hurt. If you're willing to like change threads often, it wouldn't hurt to just see, like do a little test, like do a little bit of, like your blue, for example, do a little bit with just like your background color, like if it's white or something, and then do a little bit with the matching blue color and see what you like better. Oh, this is the color thread that you use all the time. Yeah, I'm loving it. I found it. I didn't realize I had. I was thinking I'd have to get more thread for this because I thought I only had like a few of these dark color 50 weight threads, but then I dug around in my thread bin and found a whole pile more of just this kind of plain creamy white. It has a color name. It doesn't say. The funny thing about Aurifil, it doesn't say what color it is on it, like in language. It's just like a number, which is kind of a bummer. So I think you have to kind of look, like Amazon will tell you what the name is, if it's like fawn or tan or something, I don't know. But right now it's just a number. I think I might have put a link to this particular color on this Facebook post, but I can't remember. You switched this time? Oh, I missed that. Still looking for your fat quarter stitch after moving. Oh no, that's a bummer, Julie. Oh, well, that's what I want to see, Julie. So Julie's asking, how are the blonde quilt blocks looking? Because these are just totally looking super blonde. Because I picked out a bunch of except for like this one, but that's not standard in my quilt. I picked a bunch of, I wanted a very pale light quilt. So I grabbed white for all my backgrounds and then a bunch of tans or just light colors. And turns out in my stash, a lot of my light colors were like very light yellows and then a couple tan colors. So all in all, it's like a blonde quilt. And I don't know what it looks like yet because I haven't laid out all the blocks, and I'm so tempted to do that, although I don't have hardly any of them done. So I want to, this is block 10, so I want to kind of see if I can, next week, we'll work on a few more unfinished blocks, and then maybe we'll try laying out what we got to start taking a peek at it. Because, yeah, I haven't seen really any of the blocks next to each other, and I'm really curious how it's looking, especially with all the white backgrounds. That's kind of a new to me thing. I know it's kind of pretty common, I think, in quilt land, but I'm using a white background, or like whatever appears to be the background of the block, I'm using white. Oh, 2311 is muslin. Well, that's a perfect name for it. Yep, 2311, so the name muslin. Perfect. Perfect, Diane. As the blondie quilt, yes. So we are almost done here, just a couple more stitches. So that didn't take hardly any time, and I've been yammering too, so easy peasy. Oh, still gotta press it and then trim it down because we did make our background a hair bigger. Just because sometimes when you applique, you can keep pulling on the background when you stitch, and then sometimes that bunches up. Like if you look at my back, these back areas are almost poofed up a little bit, and that's just from it pulling in while I stitch. So that's why, by pulling in the fabric here, you're losing, yardage on the edge, right? So that's why we ended up, that was a good suggestion. I almost didn't do that. I was just going to follow the directions, but someone mentioned, oh, hey, you should make those blocks a little bit bigger because of the needle turn applique. Just this process, this handwork process, pulls in the fabric a little bit. So yeah, we made it a little bit bigger, our background square, so we got to trim that down as well. So we're just about done. We will press and trim, and then we'll be done for reals. Okay, this has a little edge I want to try and tuck in. Just kind of grabbing the seam allowance a little bit. Got a bloop there. Let's see if I can hold it down. Oh, Tammy, I'm glad you're here. Oh yeah, if you just are coming in, yeah, you almost didn't catch me because it's going to be a short one tonight. This is going speedy delivery today. Okay, so let's just go around that spot like one more time. Last little stitch. Ooh, it's kind of bulky right here. All right, and to the back, and we'll tie this off. Ah, I love it. Okay, you know what? I think I'm just gonna grab part of this seam allowance and tie a little knot right in the seam allowance. I'm sure there's like a standard practice of this too, tying off your thread on the back of a piece of fabric, but I don't know what that standard practice is. I should look that up. I just kind of go in the backs of stitches and just kind of randomly tie a knot. This time I just went into the seam allowance because you won't see that from the front. Ah, you finished sewing your circles. Congrats, Jeannie. Okay, here we are. Here's the little chicken. Little rooster, little something. He's kind of creepy. I like him though. Okay, so let's press this up, and then we will trim him. Oh, Robin, I had an awesome vacation. I feel like I'm still like mega recovering from it. I'm just super tired during the day still, but it always, I don't know about you guys. I have a few pins laying out here, so I'm gonna put them in there before I press. But I don't know about you guys, but I am always just kind of sucked dry after a vacation. Like it takes me like recovery days. And I had a bunch of stuff to catch up on, so I don't know, I'm just tired. So I'm going to see my parents this weekend, and I'm going to be seeing an old friend from college too while I'm there, and it's just going to be a nice weekend. So hopefully it feels like a relaxing weekend and not like another vacation that I have to recover from. So we'll see. Regardless, it'll be nice to see everyone. Bloop, blog, fuzzles, quilting in the wild, kitty scratched. You got the terms down. All right. So I'm pressing on the back just, I don't know, to protect the front. You know, I don't want to totally smash these down, even though that's kind of technically what we're doing. So I don't know, I suppose I could press it from the front too, but I think we're fine like that. There we go, it's so pretty. So let's trim this down. Head back over here. Okay, so I think let's try trimming this on the rotating cutting mat, just because it makes it so much easier to just move the mat around versus, you know, I can just make a cut and then rotate, make a cut and rotate. That's so much easier than picking everything up and moving. So let's start there, and then I want to get my 6.5-inch ruler. If you guys are doing the Splendid Sampler 1 or 2 quilt longs, I totally recommend getting a 6.5-inch ruler like this, because all of our blocks for it are going to be cut to 6.5 inches. Oh, I missed something there. Sorry, guys. All right, no. So I recommend getting one of those if you're going to go through this whole process, because it sure makes things, it's just so much easier. I can frame up, like I'm framing up this in the block, centering it within this ruler is so much easier than having a bigger ruler and having to figure it out. So I'm kind of using these as a guide. This seems to me that it should all maybe be equal, like, well, wait, how big is this square in the middle? Yeah, so this is 2.5 inches. Well, regardless, I'm just going to use these lines as my guide, you know, in case I'm askew a little bit. So let's make sure that square is what we're going by. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I don't know. Maybe we'll average it out. So like right now, look, I'm framing that square. Like the square is what's lined up on the lines, but if you look at my edges, they are all kind of angled funny, which is probably fine. I probably stitched it down a little bit angular. So I think, even though my background seams are going to be a little crooked, I think this is probably the best way to have the appearance of a straight block. Because I think if I err on the side of doing it like the background, I think our middle square is going to appear crooked, and I think that's going to be more obvious than, you know, if the background seam is a little different. So I'm going to use that, I'm going to center that square and use those lines. So I think about like that will do. So, okay. Oh, it's a 6.5-inch ruler, Shirley, for our 6.5-inch block. So it's awesome. I did put a link to it, and the link that I have comes with a, it's a pack. So it comes with a 2.5-inch block like this, 4.5-inch, and a 6.5-inch, and it's pretty awesome. So, all right, here we go. Things move around here. So I am just gonna trim this. We have a low connection right now, it says, so hopefully I'm not too pixelated for you guys. Oop, I shimmied it. Stay there. This is where that weight would come in handy. Like how Nolene suggested. Should have grabbed one. All right. We'll see how straight this ends up being. I'm nervous because my background is pretty crooked, but I think that square in the middle is what I should be going by. But look, so we did make this background bigger, and that's helped a ton. I have leverage. I have leeway here to cut this down. Okay, one more. See, the nice thing about this rotating mat is that I can just leave everything here. This would be a pain to reposition each time. Okay, and that's that. Let's check it out. We got one more turn in there. All right, let's see how straight it looks. Yeah, I think that did the job. I think framing, using that center square as a guide versus these seams in the back, I think that was the way to go. Because if you look, these seams in the back are totally shifted, but I think that square appears in the middle still. So awesome! That is block 10, you guys. All right, I'm going to flip you around and I'll show you what it looks like with a person. Okay, here we are again. Thanks for joining me again. Here is the finished block here. Yeah, that looks nice and straight, especially from far away. So that was a good idea. Use the square in the middle that appears, that square that just kind of magically appears from these circles being next to each other. Use that as your cutting guide because I think that looks really right in the center and even. So that worked out fabulous. Awesome, you guys. So I will get this up onto YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies right now. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I will be back here on Monday. We'll be driving back from my parents and then I'll be doing this. So we'll pick out another one of these unfinished blocks and work on that a little bit more. So thanks again, and I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great night. Good night.